So you guys were one. I'm hearing a lot of you guys. You guys wanted a theme song shortened, so here we go. This girl reviews movies, games, and books. Sometimes she plays them. So does that. And when she does it with the cat, does that make her crazy? Does that make her crazy? Probably. So it's shorter. There you go. Crazy Cat Lady Gamer Reviewer or Martha Butler does not own any trailers or pictures. I use them under fair use, educational, for education and entertainment purpose.
Hi everybody, Martha here. So I'm gonna talk about the next Five Nights at Freddy's story in the seventh book of it. First, I'm gonna read the last page to you guys of Cliff since I didn't have the book. Then now I do. So let me read this. Then I'll start telling you what happens in the next one. The breaking the breaking wheel. So let's get started. Let me read this to you guys first. Of the first story, the cliffs, before we get to the breaking wheel. Your mom used to have a dress colored of those clouds. He decided he would no longer keep silent about Anna. Tyler needed to hear about his mom, just as Robert needed to talk about her. They talked about her. If they talked about her, if they thought about her, there is a way in which she would be still with them. "Mommy's pretty," said Tyler. Yes, she was. Would you like to look at some of her pictures sometime? Yeah, Tyler said. Tomorrow, Robert decided he would take the photos of Anna down from the attic. He could put some of the intentional in the living room, and maybe one in Tyler's room too. We'll do that tomorrow then, Robert said, and I'll tell you some stories about her too. Your mom was very pretty and smart and nice. Daddy's nice too, Tyler said. It was a high conversation for a 2-year-old. Thanks, buddy. I love you, Robert said, holding Tyler securely as he walked further away from the cliffs. I love you, Daddy. I love you too, buddy. Robert sat down to Tyler down the ground, and Tyler slipped his hand into his daddy's, and they walked together, home together. They walk together towards home. Okay. All right. Now to talk about the cliffs. Let me get to the last page for that one too, so I can read that one to you guys. So I'm doing that. Okay, on here. So what happened in this one is pretty gruesome. It's not as a happy ending as Cliff's. Nope. We actually have death in this story of Breaking Wheel. Weirdly, they do not mention Freddy's at all in this story. I can tell. The only thing I can tell that it's related to Freddy's, that this has to do with robots, just like Freddy's does. So this is about some kids in high school who are in a robotic class. Lucky them. We didn't have a robotic class in my high school. And it's like the last class of the day or something like that. They get out early. So, because I guess their teachers are gonna have a meeting after the kids leave. So there's like four main kids in this story. Shelly, Reed, and Pickle. Yes, his name is Pickle. Actually, it's not Pickle. It's like Dilbert, and it's they call him Pickle because Dill Pickles. So it kind of reminds you of the Rugrats a little bit. And also Julius, which also it reminds you of something to do with Disney. It's like one of Disney's old animation stuff had a character named Julius in there. It's kind of like Pete. But back to this book. They're all making like their own robots. I think Shelly's is like a robot cat. Reed's Pickles it's like a car, and Julius is like one that is you're able to get inside of it and control it from the inside. So yeah, and like before they leave, Julius is like the bully in the story, and so he like trips Pickle and makes him like land on the ground and bruise his nose. If they first think it's he broke it, but we find out later it's just bruised because Pickles and Chili's mom, because they're twins, looks at the nose when they get back to the house and tells them that it's bruised, but not yet. So this will let you guys know it's not broken. So when they're like have to leave for the day to go to get on the bus, Julius and Reed stay inside the room, and Julius starts to bully Reed. And when you're like being bullied, sometimes you freeze and don't do anything. Like don't even leave the room because that's what's happening to your Reed. And sometimes that happened to me, even though you should be heading to the bus, Reed. And Julius like is describing that he's gonna make Reed his slave when he gets inside his robotic his own robot, and but yet he gets stuck in there because and Reed decides to leave Julius in there for the rest of the night, just for the night. And he gets back to the bus. He almost misses the bus, but the bus driver luckily lets him in. And while on their way to Pickles and Chili's house, because I guess they're going to be over there at their house, and they're going to help they're probably going to do like their homework together. So and also they also to mention Reed's mom's dead, so and she died recently. They don't know what she died. They don't really mention what she died of in the story, but yep, and he's still grieving over it. And so while this is going on, Shelly is one of those kids who likes to read about history, and no matter what type of history, even gruesome history, because she's reading about a history about torture devices, and she's like reading it to the kids, and one of them is called a breaking wheel, which is the title of the story. And so where when we find that page, so we can find out what type of torture system that is to you guys. Okay, I found it. Alright, so well, we'll start right here. Listen to this, she said. You won't believe it. What? Reed said. Pickle said nothing. He kept interested in inking into the answer in his puzzle. One of those most common used from the torture was called the wheel. Shelley read from her thick, emotional smell book. Those who confirm being consumed in this way were had unconditional torture ahead of them. They were held in place, unable to free to be free themselves. Reed stared at Shelley. What was she doing? She was messing with him, held in place, unable to break free. It sounds like she was talking about Julius. She knew that maybe she did know what he'd done after all. But how? There's something. It was something called the breaking wheel. Sure, Shelley read on. Reed open, blew out air. No, she did not know what he's done. It was just considered that she was just reading about torture devices. Then they called it that, she continued, because it was used to crush the bones on the conductor. Huh? She looked at Reed with her eyes wide. Then she returned a glance to the book and read on. The device was described to the tortured, lacking over multiple days. The wheel would make rational spokes and a person suggestion tied the whole wheel before a club was used to beat their limbs. This would rise into a human being into multiple bags of bones and was one locked on described written multiple monsters with bloody trims. So, yep, the fact that it this is pretty much a torture device, and this is basically what happens to Julius later on. So when they get home, their mom, Pickles and Shelly's mom have to go to like a night class, and she like helps before she goes. She helps with Pickles' nose and gets it to where it would stop bleeding, and so before she leaves. And they'll start doing their homework and stuff. They have a little brother named Ori. This, like, definitely, these are weird kids' names. Only one out of these three family members sounds like a real name. Sounds like a real name. It's Shelly. So yeah, but Ori is playing with Pickles' robot remote and like making it go inside of a little dollhouse that is one of Shelly's school projects. But yeah, he can't get inside inside the little house. It keeps on like hitting the wall of the little house. And um Reed keeps on thinking that because both the remote control that Ori's playing with has the same frequency that can control Julius control robot. So he's thinking that Julius is hitting the wall at school and hurting himself. Basically, Ori is actually basically hurting Julius here a lot. And he like asked his Pickle, can the frequency, how far is the frequency? And he thinks it's like a few houses over. So he's not, but he keeps, and so he doesn't think that the house it can reach as far as the school, because the school is like 3 blocks away or something like that. And he almost goes down back to the school, but he knows that it's getting dark and the school might be locked up, and he doesn't want to get in trouble for trying to break into the school. So eventually, he hears a thud outside of the house, and he's thinking the thud is Julius hitting the house outside, and it happens like 3 times. So he like goes upstairs to like look out the windows of the house, and the other kids leave the house to go and get sodas. So that leaves Reed alone with what he thinks is Julius outside hitting the walls, probably wanting to get revenge on him for leaving him in the room, leaving him in the robot. Look, I don't think even Reed would know how to get him out of there, though. I would not be able to do it. So I don't blame him. And besides, Julius was hurt his friend's nose, so he can't. He probably thought he deserved it. So eventually, Reed was right. It is Julius that is doing this, and he gets into the house and grabs Julius and grabs Reed, and he like he basically kills Reed pretty badly. Like both of them die here. Julius was like already dead. He was practically a zombie, and basically what happens inside the torture book that Shelley was reading happened to Julius here. So that's why that part was in the book. And the way that Julius kills Reed here is pretty gruesome here too. He like takes out like breaks his body and attaches it to his body. So, and the reason why I think he's basically Julius is dead here, so I think he's pretty much possessing the robot here. So that's the only thing I could think why they would mention this in this book, since it has nothing really to do with Friday to Freddy's. And when they get back to when the kids get back, Oreo is playing with the robot. So let me read this to you. Let me find a good spot. Okay. I'll read from right here. Ori grinned and held on the ground and next to the miniature's house. Ori usually interested in only cars and racing. Ori was surprised how much fun this robot was. Maybe he could get his brother to build him another thing. He never was able to get a robot to move this way before. It was super cool. Pressing the button, Oreo was gotten a little robot to crawl out from behind the miniature house. He carefully laid the robot outside the miniature house, not wanting to get his sister's bad side. One time he ran the little skeleton into the wall. When he did, he heard something thump on the floor above his head. He looked up. He didn't hear anything else, so he continued carefully guiding the robot outside of the house onto the miniature porch. When he got it out, he did a little punt thump. He gradually himself. Happy with himself, Ori grinned widely and decided to see if he could get the robot to go do even weirder things than it was before. He got onto his sofa, got his soda, and began to put the remote on fast with his fingers. Just a big lope. In response, the little robot shot off the house porch and began to spin suddenly, while Ori shot a trident. The robot skeleton began to pop and snap. a metal limp, and it was all kinds of unusual, unnatural, delightful ways. So that's how it ends. So yeah, this is probably like one of the gruesome stories that they have written so far. The next one that probably gonna the next one is called. I'll do that in a couple of days for you guys. He told me everything. I don't know what that one's gonna be about, but this one, the breaking wheel, was definitely the most gruesome one, and I don't know. It's alright. It was okay. It's more science fiction and horror, so it's kind of like both put together. But it's kind of weird that a kid could do that. A high school kid could do this, but so that's it for today. I'm probably gonna give this one a 7 out of 10. So I'll see you guys later. Like, favorite, and subscribe. And bye bye.